Pro 12 and Premiership experience, and judging by the reaction, which was one of disappointment to a healthy win against last season's finest Bedford a week ago, safe to say, Dowie, they mean business this time out.
Yeah, they do, and the victory last week was based on good foundations, good set piece, good defence, and a 10 in Gordon Ross that says thank you to his forwards and pushes the ball in front of them and into the dark corners of the pitch.
Really is the master puppeteer, Gordon Ross. International experience and played a huge part in their Premiership campaign last season. And fresh from that impressive win against Leeds last week, 24-16. Well, for Nottingham, Martin Hague is poles apart from where Justin Brunel is. A squad of 25 players, yes, 25. Only 22 players fit to take the field today. Investment was poured out towards the end of last season, so desperately cruel on a side that surprised many and exceeded their own expectations to reach the semi-finals, having finished second only to Newcastle in the regular season. Familiar Nottingham faces may have gone, but the ambition hasn't.
It hasn't, but Notts may be short on finances and player numbers, but they are not short on how to play this game that we love. Marshalled by that hugely talented man there, Brett Wilson. They play an all-court game. My only fear is, will they get a platform to serve from today?
Talking to Martin Hague before the game, very much sees this game against London Welsh to see exactly where his side is today. Matthew Jarvis coming from Connacht, schooled in the Ospreys. Huge responsibility on his shoulders, as there is on the shoulders of referee Ian Tempest, wearing kit as the television match official. So two of the sides you expect to be fighting for the playoffs come the end of the season go head to head. The rush shaken off in round one last week. Today, with the conditions as they are, there are no excuses, and it's Jarvis and Nottingham who get us underway. Initial knock on from Nottingham. I'm going to say glorious conditions out there, 23 degrees, really warm in the sun. Will play a part. A wonderful track as well here at Meadow Lane. It's the advantage of moving, sharing a football stadium.
Taken in.
There's Seb Jewell. Alex Davis is coming back from injury. The points machine for London Welsh over the last few seasons. He was kicking earlier today out here at Meadow Lane, so he's not far away. That's Seb Jewell wearing that 15 shirt. Will Robinson, try scorer last week. Rotated for Seb Jewell today.
Line, please.
Well, they can rotate, can't they? They've got so many good players.
I'll give you time, please.
And they'll need those players if they are going to go back up into the Premiership. Seb Jewell, he's a handful if he gets some space out wide. There's a good start from London Welsh using the big forwards to get some position in the field, and then the kickers to gain that territory further down the pitch.
Now the Abacus out this week. 220 points and 22 tries scored between these two sides in the last four outings. As you said, Nottingham can play the all-court game, can't they? And defence was a big part of the victory over Leeds last week. Big hit in the midfield there. Knock on from London Welsh, and Nottingham have a scrum right in the middle of the field.
And this is the commitment they need. Romans there, great up and under the winger. Andrew Savage, sorry, no, Styles was slightly in front there. Boom, straight in there. Great conditions. Trying to move the ball. And that's the pressure that Martin Hague will be looking for his side to put on.
New scrum sequence, of course. Crouch, bind, set. Ball must go in the middle.
Nice start already. Well, it's interesting because Rory Lawson was talking, obviously, in the studio. The game will come down to this, and it will, as it mostly does in the Championship at the moment. But it has become a slight little bit of a mess. I watched Romans, the Nottingham scrum half, put the ball in last week against Leeds, and he didn't put one in straight. We will listen to what happens and see what happens.
Michael Holford on the tight head for Nottingham. Second stint to the club. London Welsh for a time as well, wasn't he?
Yes, 9!
Big power coming from Nottingham. Sure pick up. Here's Romans. And down the short side, Catchpole. This young Leicester Tiger, one of 3 dual-registered players for the season.
Off feet.
Not seeing off their feet.
14.
Alex Shaw, Reece Crane was there with Ed Styles off his feet.
I think it was Ed Styles, wasn't it? Not supporting your own weight. You go straight off your feet, trying to fill the space, but you've got to try and stay up. It's difficult when there's no one really to go against. In the wreck situation, this is the scrum. Well, you are allowed to go for the push soon as that ball comes in, but that was slightly before, and that was slightly squint.
Advantage.
Tittrell, straight from that throw.
Knock straight, and then a knock on. What do we want? Option. Scrum. It's a knot straight, and then a knock on.
Reece Crane coming into the side, playing against his old club.
Thank you. Set well, please. Set well. Twos.
He's here for
Ear
2
to ear.
years. Scored 11 tries in his 19 league games. Has had some bad injuries, Reece Crane, but
Crouch.
moved to London Welsh. He is a finisher, an out-and-out finisher. As is Joe Adua, Seb Stegman, these really good experienced players, whether it be Reece Crane experience in the Championship or Seb Stegman experience with Harlequins. It's a good-looking squad, London Welsh. It's a good-looking starting 15 for Nottingham.
Yeah, it is. Not
Crouch.
trying and going for the scrum option.
Bind.
They fancy themselves, whereas Welsh were very strong against Bedford last weekend. There's an early drive there, and again the ball gets fed in, so that is a correct decision. You're not allowed to drive until that ball goes in. You've got to be stationary and you've got to be square.
There's Lewis to Mitch Lees. He's a big man at blind side. It's poor pass from Rupert Cooper. That's what Rupert Cooper does best, dives on the ball. Romans. Here's John Vickers from the Plymouth Albion hooker. Referee's been quick on the whistle at the moment. Obviously wants the breakdown to be clear and allow sides to build up some quick ball. Well, Will Greenwood is our roving commentator today. Will?
A classic home and away start, really, Johnny and Derry, isn't it? The home side, great set piece, lovely line out, big hit in defence. Whereas the away side, couple of errors, making a few mistakes in the set pieces, and it just gives, quite rightly, the first opportunity to Nottingham. I think it probably just shaded the first 5 or 6 minutes. Dowie, I didn't have to wait 27 years for a scrum this week, but it was still crooked.
But the ball's not going in straight, mate.
No, it's not.
Hargy won't mind that as long as it's going in on his side. But interesting, I mean, that mistake just came from London Welsh. Had a bit of possession for the first time, and Rob Lewis, the scrum half, had an atrocious pass out. But Matthew Jarvis, as he said, first chance for points.
Matthew Jarvis had to pull out late last week. I'll leave the details as to why. But massive boots to fill. James Arledge, such an integral part of this club over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Jarvis, his first competitive kick then for his new club. With something to spare, a little smile comes across the face of Martin Haag. Always good to get your first one for a new club.
He's just tickled this over. I think if there is a bit of a conditions, the wind is slightly with him, but he's absolutely just nailed it. No problem at all. He could go from about 60, 65.
Romans inside him. It's a canny operator. Using that box kick a great deal already in this opening 7 or so minutes. Jarvis with a take. Cooper is tackled backwards. Peter Brown is there for London Welsh. Nathan Trevor as well, and it's turnover ball for Welsh here. It's Mitch Lees, the Australian. Frantic stuff. Stegman. Carl Kerwin can't hold on to the ball. It is very wet and greasy out there, though.
Chatting to Ben Johnson before the game, he was talking about this kid, Matthew Jarvis. He's got some experience, obviously, in the Heineken Cup for Connacht. And he got a couple of shots at goal just in the warm-up, and he whacked him over. And Ben said, we've got to remember Ben Johnson played for England. He played against the All Blacks a few years ago and beat the All Blacks at Twickenham. So he's seen quite a few people down the years boot a ball, and he said he's never seen a bloke kick a ball as far as this kid.
Chase your feet.
Can't help but think it really reminds me of James Hook. His gait is very similar to that of James Hook. Turpin, your man. Looking forward to seeing him in the Heineken Cup.
Yes, 9.
Two very powerful scrums coming together. Romans is allowed to play it. No, he's not.
Far side.
Assistant referee has
Far side.
come in there.
On the arm. Thanks,
Simon Harding. Bind on the arm from Michael Holford.
Post, thank you.
Another very
Post
experienced campaigner. He always wanted tight head.
Referee is on the arm.
And a chance for London Welsh to level things up.
Yeah, they're not as precise as they were against Bedford. They're snatching at passes, as we see Michael Holford, the culprit. But, you know, talking to Justin Burnell, obviously London Welsh coach before, was happy with this start. There's plenty to improve on. And this guy, obviously assistant coach Gordon Ross, will know that. But they're just snatching at the moment. They haven't had much ball to play with. This might calm the nerves.
173 Premiership points last season for Gordon Ross. That's 3 more Championship points to add to his tally. Hasn't kicked a huge amount for London Welsh over the last couple of seasons. Of course, Alex Davis, the man normally to take those kicks, but suiting enough for Gordon Ross, and we are all level.
Great strike. And of course he was used to play for Heriots FP in his younger days.
He did. Good knowledge then.
Good knowledge. That was a great chase from Notts then.
But I mean, he has great knowledge, doesn't he, Gordon Ross? Wonderful control over the game. Exactly what you want in the Championship. See there, just stepped off the left.
That's exactly
the route
it.
was blocked.
Exactly it,
Comes
Johnny.
back onto the right.
Movement was going to go from right to left. Was the pass on? No, because again, Nottingham had pushed up on that right-hand side. Okay, let's get the exit strategy right. Let's get the ball out there and let's start again. Put some pressure now on the Nottingham line out. There it goes. Back onto his right. It's a decent nudge. Referee's already told the players to stop reffing the game as well, which is always good.
Really seen how tight this league is. It's going to be. Not even completed round 2. Cornish Pirates winners over Bristol in round 1. Lost to Leeds on Friday night. Moseley coming back at Plymouth Albion. Jersey lost to Plymouth, didn't they? Bounced back with a win over Bedford. Jarvis. There's Monroe on that angle tight on the fly half shoulder. Runs that angle so well. Jarvis. And that's what he does as well. He attacks the line. Now needs the pass. Styles just had to go up for the pass. And that stopped the momentum just momentarily. Romans back to the forwards now. That's Montague. Shaw is now there at first receiver. Just pops it on to Cooper. Catchpole. Savage. So often seen him on the wing for Nottingham. David Jackson, the mullet man, injured at the moment. Concussion. Spoke to him at training this week. Very nice chap, still doing it at the top level, but he'll come back, and Savage, no doubt, will move back to the wing.
And the movement stopped there. Tremendous tackle from Titchell, but look at that for a break. Beautiful pass off the left hand. Out to Styles. Matthew Jarvis, experienced. He was in that Heineken Cup side for Connacht that beat Biarritz. We remember that well. He's a good performer.
That's good, thank you.
Even with that break, he looked like James Hook. Less tan, certainly.
You're going for this, aren't
Less
you?
orange.
Crouch!
Came initially from a good catch and drive from Cooper. Good line-out drive, and they drove it in field to allow the gap to materialise, but he made the most of it. He's a talent.
Scrum was steady that time when the ball was put in. Front row's going down again though.
Should we get scrum, Cam?
I'm coming around, mate. Coming around. Right, I'm going that side. I'm still looking for that, please. In we come. You're chasing your feet. I'm looking at your angle, okay?
Get a square, trying to lay the law down.
There's your mark. Specifically, that's what I'm asking you for, okay?
Such a big part of the game, of course. Both these sides priding themselves on it. Martin Haag very keen on his set piece work, as is Justin Burnell.
Set!
Saw that last week in both their games.
Okay, come.
So both sides are trying to get an edge with a,
Closer, please,
a little
closer.
hit. I know the word hit came into the game, but that was all.
Set closer, please, Green.
The rules were brought back into to stop the hit, but it shouldn't be moving. When they bind and they go down, it should be set and it should be square, and then the invitation is to the scrum half then to put the ball in. So let's see.
Crouch! Bind! Set! Yes, 9!
Calls from the referee are certainly clear.
Excellent. That's an excellent scrum. And that's what you can do. It was hooked right. They got the nudge, the second nudge on, and Welsh with their power went forward. And that's the result of penalty.
Justin Burnell will be happy with that scrum, of course, former Cardiff coach who's involved in Welsh age groups as well.
You just see from those penalties how they use Gordon Ross and Jewell to kick either from deep or from penalties. You go to a right touchline, you get the left-footed kicker of Jewell. You go to a left touchline, you get the right-foot kicker of Ross, and then they tuck in behind when they're deep and they have those options to clear their lines. Classic way to get out the 22.
Great news for London Welsh, isn't it, with Kelvin Byron? Now he turned his back on only rugby, but London Welsh last seen as Steve Redgrave moment, I think it's been described as. He's going back to the club as deputy chairman. He's the money man.
It's a scrum at black ball.
Titterell struggling with his arrows at the moment. Just a slight knock on. Was it Cooper going through? Well, Cooper's gone through there. It wasn't from him. But again, the Welsh line out pretty shaky.
I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing him stepping across. You want the reward, you stay legal.
Yes, British line 2005.
9. Last one was good. I'm watching again, please.
5 caps for England. Last was back in 2007.
Crouch!
Game against New Zealand off the bench.
Bind!
A few years before that.
Set!
Man, he keeps himself in tremendous shape.
Reece Crane's just creeping off his right wing here. Would he be first receiver? Are they going to go for the penalty? They're going to go for the scrum, and they've got it.
Pienaar controlling brilliantly the base of the scrum. That scrum is getting the edge at the moment, isn't it, London Welsh? Very much so. Last 2 scrums, very dominant.
And you can see from the first couple of scrums with Nottingham, we're really getting in quick to try and negate this, but all of a sudden when it slows down, you set and you square, the scrum will favour the stronger and the best cohesive pack. And at the moment you can see Welsh, total strength, total power, total control at the back. That's exactly what Gordon Ross wants, and he's got a chance now with the penalty.
It was an edgy opening 5 or so minutes, wasn't it, here for London Welsh, but growing into this game as every minute ticks by.
And when you've got a dominant scrum like that, it's a bit like British and Irish lines in the third test. You can always come back to it. Doesn't matter what's happening in the game. If you've got strength in that position, you always come back to it, and the opposition then fear you.
Ross, good sounding kick. Good thump straight through the middle of the post. Alan Welsh have the lead.
Easy at the moment, isn't it? But it's all been dominated. It's almost like a game of chess. Just trying to sort out where the weaknesses are. And now you've got to say, it's just 17 minutes into the game. There's a little weakness maybe happening in the Nottingham scrum, whereas the London Welsh line-out is having slight problems as well. So even Stevens at the moment.
Brown. Good hands from London Welsh. Only Titterell had his best 18 or so minutes on rugby field at the start of this game. could see what London Welsh were trying to do there.
Knock on.
The ambition was there.
Scrum green. Here, please.
Just didn't quite happen, did it?
Simon, your side.
It's good movement. There's Gordon Ross. We decide to go offload. Great. Well, not the greatest of pass, but well picked. And then Titterell should have gone. 3 players to 1. It's a 3-on-1. Should have gone through the hands, backed himself. He tried to absorb the tackle. It didn't work.
It was high risk rugby, isn't it? You've just taken the lead, then you're passing the ball in your own 22 in front of your posts. Now Nottingham have the scrum.
And if they're forcing, given the platform, you can see the territory figures there.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Yes, 9.
Nottingham with the territory. Need this scrum now, though. It squirts out, though, for London Welsh. Seb Stegman. It's come off a hand. Mitch Lees is there. Good turn of pace for a big man, Mitch Lees. Jewell, of course, played plenty of rugby at fly half, just slots in there, no problem. Rob Lewis. Stegman again.
Release 13.
Individual errors at the moment, isn't it, for London Welsh? Knock-ons. And the ball is turned over again. Vickers is the man to pick it up. Here's Jarvis.
Wait, advantage over.
Stegman again, and Jewell. Goes high. Keogh's underneath it. Jarvis is there. It's knocked on.
It's knock on.
Scrappy and
Scrum green ball.
Messi will go for the first knock on. Scrum down to Nottingham, and a good opportunity to speak directly
Time off, man down.
to Martin Haag, the Nottingham coach. Martin, your thoughts first 19 minutes or so in?
Well, we said inside that the first 20 minutes has to be a big focus for us. We knew they would start well, and I think we've competed very, very well. I mean, the scoreline 6-3 could easily been 6-3 to us. So for us, it's about holding on to ball a little bit more. I think we need a little bit more pace in the game. So we've talked about the breakdowns in particular, where London Welsh are very heavy. If we can get some quick ball and keep the ball, I think we can cause some damage. So far, we're okay. We need to make sure that the next 20 is as good as the first 20.
Seen the last couple of scrums, Martin, going backwards a little bit. Concerns there?
No, not really, because I thought the first 3 or 4 we were going forward and didn't get the rub of the green. So obviously that's something that we'll put on the half-time card. But we need to make sure that when we're in good areas, just like then, that we have a good scrum, a good line out, and deliver that ball for the backs and have a go.
Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully we'll speak to you in the second half as well. It's great getting a coach's thought in the game, isn't it?
It's all right.
You happy?
He's only losing by 3 at the moment, 20 minutes into the game. Might be different in the second half. We hope he's winning in the second half. But again, interesting. He thinks, right, going forward in the first couple of scrums, going back in the last couple of scrums, we'll see what happens with this scrum.
Set. Yes, 9.
He has done absolute wonders at this club, Martin Haag. Just tightened their game up. He's put on the nuts and bolts. And there we go. Penalty to Nottingham at the scrum.
Okay, thank you. Number 3,
As though the referee was listening to Martin Haag then.
I can't quite work out that throwing his feet back, the referee said, number 3. It's Peter Edwards. Tight head for London Welsh. He lost his foot. He's lost his footing, that was for sure. Chase his feet. Oh. Well, if you don't chase your feet, you fall on your nose, don't you?
I'll look at that for you, okay? But don't just throw your feet back for me like you did there. Okay.
Peter Edwards, former Scarlets man. Couldn't be anything else, could he, but a rugby player?
No. Good lad.
Played the Help for Heroes game a couple of years ago.
No, stay out, receive it,
last week,
receive
he
it.
showed some good hands, didn't he, for one of the
He
tries.
did. Made a good bust right up the middle.
Jarvis to Monroe. That's what he does so well. Gets over that gain line, gives a target for the forwards. Here's Romans again. That quick service of his, catch pole. Into that 22 now. Holford. Good quick ball for Nottingham here. Montague. Had a spell at Bristol, didn't he? And came back here to Nottingham.
Knock on. Knock on advantage.
Forced error. Still by Joe Monroe.
It's been knocked on by Green. Scrum black ball.
Knocked on, but Gordon Ross shouting to his players there, good defence from London Welsh.
It's interesting, you can see how Jarvis is orchestrating Mattis out there, and the ball goes on the left-hand side. There he goes, he's across the ball, he's in there. Monroe, who does make great angles, he made some superb angles last. And then when the ball comes out here, it's actually when the ball comes back, when the ball gets trapped down there, he doesn't want the ball. He puts two pods in, he's got forwards there, you can see Holford and the guys there, in you go, bang it straight up. He's moving right round the back, he asks another group of forwards to go in, and then he's round the back. What do you think, Will?
And there from the back of it, you just see perhaps one of his weaknesses. He was going right, left, fantastic distribution, going left, right, through an absolute brick.
Do you think he could be a bit flatter as well?
I'm exactly thinking that, Dave. And then on the back of it, he made a great break, but I do feel he's 2 or 3 yards too deep at the moment to really pressurise this London Welsh defence.
He's come here to start regular rugby, to start week in, week out. He'll do that with such a young squad. A squad with not many players in, I should say. But he will get that game time. That's exactly what he's come here to do. Rhys Crane gets in the way.
Must have heard the call, being an ex-Nottingham lad.
In the Championship 15, isn't it, Rhys Crane? Jewell trying to find a way through very congested midfield. There's Lewis, Gordon Ross. Good quick hands from Tom May. Stegman has had a great step on him. Marfu with the tackle, the loose head prop for Nottingham. There's Rob Andrew going in. A poor pass from Rob Lewis.
The second poor pass from Rob as well.
Penalty advantage, roll away.
Nottingham not rolling away, advantage to London Welsh. Gordon Ross, Tom May, it's 3-on-1. Lewis! Oh, he's coughed the ball up.
Time off. I want to check whether that was dislodged in the tackle. TMO, please. Kitty, can you hear me?
Got you there.
Can you see whether that was knocked back by Green in the tackle, or whether it was actually a knock-on? If it is, I'm going back for a penalty.
Okay, understood. Checking that tackle.
Fair enough.
If it was
He's
knocked
playing
on.
a long advantage. But again, that's probably the best passage of play Welsh have had with the ball. Again, Gordon Ross, total charge there. When nothing else fails, he asks for his big forwards, and all of a sudden then he's picking off Holford, he's picking off props, he's picking off hookers in Vickers. And this is when you want your fast guys making a decision, and we will just have a look. It was stripped. Was it the big prop? Marfo? It's been knocked out. It is the big prop. He's done a good job there. He stripped it away.
So we're looking at here, I guess, potential try for Seb Jewell. If it's not back from a Nottingham hand. It's off the knee of it, isn't it, of James Lewis.
Well, it's forward from Murphy, off his knee. Is it a score? It's gone. If it's tackled back off the knee, has Seb Jewell scored?
Tempo, got a decision for you.
Kitty, go ahead, please.
It is lost forward by the Welsh player.
So I'm going back to award the penalty, not rolling. Thank you.
Correct.
No.
About fair.
Roll away.
Difficult.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
But fair.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you go quick on this. Let me give you more.
Decision is knock on from James Lewis. London Welsh outside centre. Go back for the penalty.
Post. Post called.
Gordon Ross will take his time now.
I'll be happy with individual errors that London Welsh are making. Some loose passes, not holding on to the ball. So on the rugby club, the post-match chat from Justin Burnell. I'll have to be in the changing room at half-time. Of course, our cameras will get in there. But they're just chipping away at the scoreboard, aren't they, with Gordon Ross? Be quite happy with a 6-all draw if this can go over from Gordon Ross. And you suggest from the first two kicks that this will be easy for the former Scotland international, and indeed it is.
Yeah, easy 3 points. But you've got to sort of bear in mind is 18 people have come into the squad, even though it's 18 people have gone out. You know, Tom Arscott, Mackenzie, Jonathan Mills, who is an iconic figure. in that Premiership season for London Welsh. They've all gone. Obviously, they've been filled by people, so it does take a little bit. You know, patterns, line-out calls, scrum calls, centre calls. So they're a wee bit rusty. I think both sides are a little bit rusty, actually.
Clearly, the sun getting to me. It's 9-3, not 6-all. There's that time gelling together, isn't it? It's down at the club this week at training, and far from being disappointed or from being relegated from the Premiership and all the bits and pieces that went with it. There's a real upbeat feeling to the club. Plenty of new players. You've still got the stalwarts of London Welsh, the Lewis brothers. Hudson Tongue, who's injured at the moment. Mike Denby still in the squad, so they understand what London Welsh is about.
Form, please.
And they've added some real quality as well.
Form, please.
Game gone a little bit flat now for Notts. They need to get hand on the ball. A good line out now. The setup is suggesting they might do a catch and drive. And then Top Monroe, he does create some lovely angles. Let's roll around the back.
Romans, Cooper, good hands from him. To May, that's a great tackle of Michael Holford.
Okay, thank you very much. It's an offside from the backs. Offside. Thanks, Darren. Where are we here?
Offside from London Welsh.
Offside. Post.
No hesitation whatsoever from Jarvis. Points straight to the post.
Darryl, do we get a number?
Gordon Ross doesn't agree with the decision, strangely enough. Having a word with the assistant referees behind the post now.
Good hands there from Cooper again, back inside using the forwards. Where his big front throw forward to drive on. And actually, the decision was from Daryl Chapman, touch judge or third official or whatever you call him these days, down in front of us. London Welsh just creeping forward on that defensive line.
Assistant referee. It's not that
Assistant
difficult.
referee, is it? Sorry, it is for me. Touch judges, line out judges, assistant referees. Okay.
Here's Matthew Jarvis to make it 6-9. Easy enough for him. Smashed into the stand behind. And he scored 42 points in the Celtic League, the Pro 12. Call it down the years for Connacht. Scored, as I say, through the Ospreys. Released by them February 2011. Went to Connacht, but on a great deal of chance to get into the side there with Dan Parks arriving. Niall O'Connor, who of course is now at Jersey.
And Martin Howell will be delighted with that. That's the way to do it. Catch the restart. Set. Romans, tremendous box kick. Again, if it had still been in pitch, it would have been a good chase from the winger.
Put your arms down. You step on your mark, please. In 15, please.
Good exit strategy, isn't it, Barry? Your favourite little term.
Yes, exit strategy, Johnny. But that, again, it's part and parcel of it. Now more pressure on the Welsh line-out. They've done better this time. They fancy a bit of a catch and drive.
Peter Brown, the Cup winner with Harlequins last season. Win over Sale.
A lot of power there from Welsh. Look at that.
Penalty advantage, 5.
Look at that. They'll keep going and going and going.
Penalty already coming to London Welsh.
Penalty advantage.
Lewis knew it. Went down the blind alley.
5, side entry.
It's Dan Montague's coming from the side for Nottingham.
5.
And the back's coming in to slap the forwards on the back. That's a tremendous drive from London Welsh, showing their intent. And they made a big statement last week, didn't they?
Well, for me, they should have scored more tries than they did. I thought they did a tremendous job. They sacked the Bedford line-out very quickly. They couldn't get a platform with Bedford, which is one of their strengths. And they went about their work. First try with Will Robinson, outstanding. But again, they can come back to the scrum where they're powerful. They can come back now. They'll fix the line-out. That's a massive weapon. They've come here to do a job. They've come here to make a statement in this championship and saying, right, OK, we can come to places like Nottingham, who were in the playoffs last year, and win well. Might not be pretty, but it'll be effective.
Ross. Hasn't put a foot wrong, has he, Gordon Ross, today? 12-6, Nottingham get a penalty of their own, and London Welsh come straight back, show all their power up front, and it's 12-6.
Jarvis has had a nice break, couple of long kicks, but Gordon Ross just looks calm, all that international experience, in control, just seems to be seeing the game in slow motion, having been there, done it so many times, and striking those penalties so sweetly.
Doesn't look like missing, does he, at the moment? Here he is on the ball again. Puts it through the hands to Tom May.
Difference with Jarvis as well. Jarvis can take the ball then pass it, whereas Ross will take it and take it up to the line.
Lewis has gone quickly here, and Ross is there. Just saw it very early, as he so often does. Cohen with a knock on. Alex Shaw needs his mates around him now. Cooper arrives. So often those two in tandem, Cooper and Shaw. Vickers has to play scrum half now. Keogh. Big man, didn't quite get his body height right that time. Vickers again. Jarvis just picks it up nicely. Goes high for Seb Jewell. Frustrating for Gordon Ross, frustrating for London Welsh at the moment. Too many individual errors, drop balls, poor passes. And it's the second game of the season, but it's frustrating stuff for London Welsh.
And you can see what Gordon Ross is doing there. He's just very frustrated. William?
Yes, Dowie, it happens to everyone, doesn't it? The brain is as sharp as anything. The legs just don't quite run as fast. Great tap go from Lewis. Gordon Ross saw it coming, and a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, he'd have gone and scampered through that break. But the gap closes as he arrives. It's just, as a fly half, you can continue to play. What is he, 34, I think, now? So much composure, so much time. But when he played at his pomp for Scotland with Scuttle, I'm sure Rory played with him a couple of times, and he had genuine pace over 10-15, just catching up on him. So he's got that experience alongside Tom May at 10 and 12 to bring that, and they'll try and bring the pacemen of gents like Stegman on the left wing to have a crack.
35 actually. Well, they've taken a year off him, but he's model professional, isn't he? They're one of the first at training, one of the last to leave, and now of course in this new role of assistant coach, who's doing a lot of the coaching on Tuesday when I was down at Old Deer Park. Their base for now, of course, moving the whole operation up to Oxford, the Sound Stadium. Conversations about the name. I'd like to see it stay London Welsh myself.
8-9
so
on here.
much history. Here's Shaw. Now his crystal ball is working.
Again, he goes well, Shaw, and he just forces that pass. You can see it was on. Romans had called the move, and then it's just that. Oh, again, coaches. You're talking about coaches. Martin Haag will be furious. Well, furious. It's again all about position. You're going into the break. 8-7 minutes to go. You're well in touch of this game, and then he just let the ball slip.
Just get the feeling from both these sides that they know that it can be two of the sides challenging right at the end of the season. They just want to get that psychological edge over the other one. They're just forcing the game a little bit too much at the moment, both sides, and that's where the mistakes are happening. Somehow comes out. Ross puts it down as far as Savage. Into Tom May. All those true tries for Northampton against Nottingham, didn't it? Which effectively relegated London Welsh to this championship.
Advantage green.
Advantage coming to Nottingham.
Tackle release!
Arm wrestle at times.
Move back.
Jarvis to Shaw. Vickers, that's a big hit.
Knock on.
Rob Andrew.
Oh,
put himself around a little bit too much last week, didn't he? Well, for 32 minutes anyway, until he saw
twice the size of Vickers,
card.
and again, there's some weight going in here from Nottingham. You can see Tittrell, he missed the first hook, he gets himself in a bad position there, and this is what happens when hookers aren't used to actually swinging your leg. You get in an awkward position. That's when you need your props to take your weight. There's still a lot of work to be done. if hookers are going to be comfortable in a position to get down there. But that was a good nudge from Nottingham.
Yes. A good foot off the ground there, wasn't he, Andy Titterell? Just didn't burn out. The fight, wasn't he, for Bridgend?
He certainly was.
In the day.
In the
Uncompromising.
He's smiling now. He never used to smile when he played. God. Good lad.
Plenty of experience coaching Wales under 21s. Led Wales under 19 to a Grand Slam back in 2009, and he was joint coach of the Cardiff Blues after Guy Young left with Gareth Baber.
Right, well, Welsh have a go there. There's a lot of beef, isn't there? A lot of meat in that second row. Brown and Andrew there. They got shunted back the last scrum. What's going to happen with this one?
I was going to say they would have liked their hooker being in the air at the last scrum. Big part of the game, this. It's turning into it.
It's there. It's there. They've turned it. That's the response, and the response will be Gordon Ross coming in and having another go for 3. It's not a bad lead. 9 points going in if he gets it. 9 points going into the half.
Thanks, Darryl. 1. Post. Thank you.
Again,
Post.
1 not chasing his feet, I think. Mafu. The Fijian prop.
Thank you.
Busy Mafu. Man penalised that time. I don't know, calm for now anyway.
Well, I think if you've got 22 players at the beginning of the season to pick from, 22, because that's what happens when your finances go, and they've lost a lot of players to London Irish, you know, the likes of Harris, Levington, Parr, Rouse, Stevens, and he just goes, well, that's it, I've just got to get on with it. And they've still got some quality there, but as the boys said, can they sustain it as the season goes on?
Ross. 5 from 5 from Gordon Ross. 15-6 now. It's very much the suggests that the spine of Nottingham have been ripped out over the summer. The likes of Duffy going from the front row, Nick Rouse, as you've mentioned.
Strether,
the centre,
and the main man you mentioned,
James
Arledge.
Yep. That's a real spine of the team. They don't see it like that. Plenty of new players coming in. Keogh, good replacement in the second row. Vickers, we've spoken about in the front row. Strether is a very difficult man to replace. Fabulous championship player, Tim Strether. Interesting to see how he goes at the Saracens. But it is what it is, Martin Hart said to me this week. I can't do anything about it. We have to control the controllables. I think was the phrase. Vickers, lovely little spin and the tackle from him. Here's Jarvis. Catspaw! Just tap tackle. George Catspaw. Done for Nottingham here though. Styles. London Welsh pouring back in defence now though. Penalty to Nottingham. There's been plenty of penalties in this game so far. We're going to see a movement towards the pocket from the referee.
But again, it just broke up, didn't it? Good offloading. And Vickers there just passing the ball, and that's the boy. Matthew Jarvis sees the space, and this lad, Catchpole, dual registered, he said, Johnny, with the Tigers, just coming in there, but you can see the defensive line coming out. That's what you want. Good conditions, the front row union, in union that time. And then all of a sudden you can see the vision coming up from Jarvis, and Catchpole goes through, just brought down, ankle tapped. And I think London Welsh will be just quite happy to give away 3 there. That's the sparks, the first time really the crowd have got a little bit vocal. It's been a bit flat this game so far, and that was the spark nearly. We saw the first try, but they'll take 3.
Yeah, they will. 9:15 now. Just stem the flow of points for London Welsh. As you say, they will be happy that it's only 3 points. George Catchpole showing what he can do in the development squad of the Tigers. And this dual registered relationship between Premiership clubs and Championship clubs continues. Very valuable for both.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's, you learn your skills, your art. You definitely know the scrum's changed. These guys will get weaker and then go back to the Premiership clubs and help them out. But great advocate of these guys playing dual registered all the time. You learn by playing rugby, not by sitting on the bench for certain academies and getting a 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there.
Catchpole is one of those players with Tom Price and Ryan Barrow on the bench today, announcing the England under-20 EPS squad for this season. So he needs to turn of pace for that break earlier on. Just before half-time then, there's Carl Kerwin.
Well, that lineup's about as straight as some of the puttings at the scrum. It's not.
I know the grounds and watered the pitch here earlier on, because they say it plays better the watering first thing in the morning, but it's not wet out there anymore. It's glorious out there.
It isn't wet. There's no dew out there. As most football grounds do, they've got sprinklers that come up to put a sheen over it. Maybe. If I was coach, I'd say please don't do that. But there has been a lot of errors.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of errors there on a beautiful day. There's hardly any wind. It's not a breath of wind, really. The sun is shining, as you can see. And really, is there excuse? There shouldn't be. I know Vinny thinks it's started the season, second game in, rusty, but these guys have been, pre-season now for 2 months.
Look at that. Groundsman's been out with the nail scissors on. Oh! Romans feeding. Lewis's opposite number is off. Kerwin. Ross, lovely hands. Stegman going on the outside. Savage is there to take down the former Harlequins winger. Turned over for Nottingham.
Forward.
It's out to touch, and there is half-time. 15 points to 9, London Welsh with the lead. Bitty game in parts, real intensity, and London Welsh getting the rub of the green, certainly at scrum time, but plenty of penalties and plenty to come from both these sides, you feel, in the second half. Let's hear from London Welsh captain now. Tom May is speaking to Bill Latham.
6-point lead, Tom. How much are your forwards to thank for that?
Yeah, so we've got a big pack of forwards and they've done us well at scrum time. Just need to keep hold of the ball now in the second half. That's the main thing I'm going to be saying at half time. Be a bit more precise at breakdown and we'll be fine.
What will Justin say about the basic skills in the first half?
I probably can't say it on here, to be honest. We won't be very happy about our precision, just ball in hand, and I think everyone can see that. Even the Nottingham coach that stood here listening to me. So it's plain to see.
Cheers, Tom.
We'll have the bleepometer on standby just in case. Yeah, it's the perfect day for running rugby, and unfortunately, both sides spluttering a little bit. Neither side hitting their straps, but it is Welsh who've got the nudge up front, and the points have come as a result. It's 6 the difference, and the visitors with their noses in front.
That was the second from last game of the season, and it was the first time I'd sprinted 50 metres.
Let's go!
Watchshop.com. There's nowhere else quite like it. Over 10,000 watches, over 100 designer brands. For stylish wrists, for tough wrists, for smart wrists. From their first watch to their favorite. All with free delivery and amazing prices. For your perfect watch or as a gift, visit watchshop.com. Every time.
New for 2014. Fly direct to your P&O Cruises holiday with Thomas Cook in the Mediterranean from as little as £699 for 7 nights. Enjoy top-class entertainment, Michelin quality dining, plus the choice of exceptional benefits, including onboard spending money or airport car parking. Contact Thomas Cook, the UK's #1 agent for P&O Cruises. Call Thomas Cook now on 0800 916 6000 or visit cruisethomascook.com. Don't just book it, Thomas Cook it. ATOL protected.
You can really go, go, go. Jumping fast or rocking slow. I will see you when the band blow.
However ambitious your plans for your dream home, we want to help make them a reality. That's why at HSBC we're providing more mortgages than ever before.
If you meet someone in a bar, it takes a long time to work out if it's someone that you want to get to know. When you join eHarmony, there's such an extensive questionnaire that you do complete, and you know that people clearly are wanting the same thing as you are. The matches that come up are great. There's always something there that you've got in common. There's potentially one that may be a very good match. I'd say stop wasting time and just join.
Review your matches free at eharmony.co.uk.
Your home of sport.
I was standing there thinking, oh, this could be embarrassing if it doesn't turn.
The Rugby Championship is building to a huge climax in Johannesburg in round 6, but both the Springboks and the All Blacks have got a job to do next weekend. The Boks up against Australia from 3:30 on Sky Sports 2, and Argentina still looking for their first ever win in the Rugby Championship. Host New Zealand, that's from 11:30, same channel. Now, we had a lot of points scored this weekend in the first 4 games of the the Green King IPA Championship, I should say, but at the moment they dried up a little bit this afternoon. However, both Exiles teams are in front on the road. What is happening with Bristol? So much expectation, and at the moment not firing too many shots. That is the latest. I can tell you they are underway in the second half. It was Marco Mama who went over early for the home side, but Miles Mantellus hit back London Scottish, so they need 10-7. And here at Meadow Lane, London Welsh have used their forward superiority to build a 15-9 lead over Nottingham. All the points coming from the boots of the respective 10s. Like an old car on a winter's morning, it's kind of spluttering but yet to really ignite, isn't it, for either of these two?
Yeah, it's taking a little while to get going. The George Catchpole at the break, at the end of that half, almost set things going, but it's been really forward dominated, a lot around the set piece, line out and scrum. Both packs are really looking forward to break-in without anything really getting going. The error count has been very high this half.
Yeah, Justin Burnell saying pre-game, we want to play with the ball, but you know that he likes his teams to perform up front, and they've given a bit of reward in that first half.
Yeah, they have. I think first to good, what have they done? I mean, they kind of know now, I think, how to play this half. They've learned from those mistakes. So up front's what it's all about. They've certainly got some dominance in the referee's eyes. I'm not so sure it's quite as wide a gap as we're seeing, but you know, the referee certainly feels they've got they're on top at scrum time, they're on top at lineouts, they're getting the drive going, and that's been, I guess, most of what's good about.
So what is he seeing,
play.
the referee?
Well, I just think it's difficult to ref, isn't it? But I think that it's very, very inconsistent at scrum time. Sometimes Nottingham getting the nudge, sometimes it's Welsh, but right now, you know, I guess on balance, Welsh are shading it. When it comes down to the key decisions, the penalties in the kickable areas, it's absolutely Welsh on top there. And again, we've seen their line-out function pretty well, and their line-out drive, this one in particular, was absolutely outstanding, wasn't it?
Having spoken working past the ball. Andy Tuttrell in the week, he was just saying if you get the process right for the referees, so if you get the crouch, bind and set right, and then you don't push early, then he'll allow it to make it a contest. I think Nottingham got done once for an early push, but typically Welsh have been patient and stuck with it, and as a result I think they've managed to get that nudge in when the ball's gone in, and they've been given the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I don't know the protocol, but if your scrum's going forward and the ball's in, typically 9 times out of 10 I think you're going to get the penalty.
Yeah, Tom May not very happy with their accuracy at half-time. Justin Burnell furious with it at the end of the game against Bedford last week. I mean, why are these errors occurring?
I think it's partly just beginning of the season, we're making our errors, but it's also where we're playing. I mean, I don't see the benefit of trying to throw it wide in your own 22 against a pretty tenacious Nottingham side who've got good line speed, and they're harrying and getting in the faces, and they're trying to create, and that's exactly what Nottingham want right now. They want them to play out of those areas, and they want to harry them and try and win penalties, and we've seen, you know, when they do get the chance of a shot at goal, that they've got a pretty impressive kicker on board.
Timo has been called upon once. Was this a try?
I think the benefit of the doubt has got to go to the defence. The attacking player, I believe, has the responsibility to keep a hold of the ball, and in the case here, James Lewis, I think it's been dislodged in the tackle, yes, perhaps, but I think he has the responsibility to look after the ball, and it would have been a tough one to take there, particularly, I think, given that it was Campese Maafu who ended up putting in this tackle to manage to stop him, and with that in mind, he would have been pretty upset at having made that tackle and a try.
Add to the frustrations for Welsh.
I guess if you look at it from a technical perspective, he knocks it down, he needed it on. At that point, there's no knock on. He touched it down. It's a try, but I think in terms of the spirit of the game, absolutely the right decision.
For London Welsh, I think the key there is that they're playing that rugby in the right areas.
Yeah.
They've got their exit strategy wrong. Territorially, they've coughed off a bit of ball in this half. The far side of the pitch there is pretty slippery, and it's quite difficult to control the pill, as we've seen already on a number of occasions. So that will probably be a factor in the second half.
Flashes from Nottingham, 6 the difference. They're still right in it if they can pull their socks up, aren't they?
I think that depends just on what sort of Welsh side we see second half. If they just stick with what they're good at, with the pack, then no. But if they don't, if they try and play it, then they've got players in this Nottingham side that can hurt them, and been hugely impressive, Jarvis, at 10, I've got to say.
So if it depends on London Welsh and how they perform, what is Nottingham's best hope then?
I think Nottingham need to get into the second half early. They need to probably get a couple of points on the door, whether that's penalties or if they can maybe sneak a try. That'll build pressure, and it'll be interesting to see how London Welsh adapt to that pressure. Added to that, Nottingham off the bench, you're just not sure. They've got a smaller squad, whereas London Welsh have got some real power coming off the bench.
They certainly do. Final point you're about to make?
No, I think that last point's absolutely key. It's have they got the impact players to come on and change the game? I don't think they have, whereas I think they're going to run out of steam.
Yeah.
And I think as the game wears on, I think the gap will grow.
6 the difference, though. Nottingham will still believe at this stage. Having said that, though, London Welsh have won on 4 of their last trips here to Meadowlone, and at the moment they're on their way to making that 5 out of 6. Anybody's game. It's a question really of who can close this one out. Second half next.
I know my girlfriend said that she couldn't watch. She had the pillows over her eyes, as did her mum and as did my mum.
Bold lad, you've gone for an accumulator. 4 selections winning, and your final game, still 2-2. Is there time? With Betfair, you can cash out for a profit on your accumulator, even if not all of your selections are winning. So, do you? Don't you? Do you? Don't you? With Betfair, you decide. Join today and get a free matched bet up to £50.
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that life's easier when you have a little flexibility.
With a Wonga loan, you choose how much you'd like to borrow and when you want to pay it back.
We're totally flexible, so you can be too.
Short-term loans you customise yourself. That's pretty smart.
That's right, Earl. Up to £1,000. Very nice.
For a short-term loan on your terms, visit Wonga.com. Wonga.com. Straight talking money.
At the limits of your ability, you need to replace the electrolytes you lose in sweat. Give your body fuel. Keep your body hydrated. Lucozade Sport hydrates and fuels you better than water.
Huh? Oh. Don't stop me, don't stop me, don't stop me. Hey, hey, hey! Don't stop me, don't stop me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't stop me, don't stop me. Have a good time, good time. Don't stop me, don't stop me.
Feel faster, flow faster with Visa contactless, online, mobile.
If you need one of these. It's the new Screwfix catalogue. Get into Screwfix for your free copy, because if it's in here at amazing trade prices. And now with Click and Collect, you can check stock in your local store using your smartphone or PC. Pay online at screwfix.com. And then pick it up from the express collection point in over 295 stores nationwide. Just pop in. The new Screwfix catalogue. Get into Screwfix for your free copy. The new, more powerful Octavia VRS. It's not your everyday family car.
Skoda. Simply clever.
Available to rent now.
I need your help, Dom. I need your team.
They're back.
Got the best crew in the world standing right in front of you.
6 times faster.
Get me Shaw. I'll get your part. That's the deal.
But available in Sky Store for half the price.
You should buckle up right now.
Ride or die.
Fast and Furious 6, available to rent now from $170 in Sky Store.
I've looked up and just seen no one in front of me, so I just thought, I've got to go. I've got to keep running.
Thursday night is your rugby night here on Sky Sports. We've got the rugby club for you this week at 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 2, and then the finale of School of Hard Knocks from 10 o'clock. That's on Sky Sports 1. It's a fantastic series this year with Scott Quinn and Will Greenwood. If you haven't seen it, do check it out on any time. Half time here at Meadow Lane. Both these two unbeaten coming into the game today. At the moment, though, it is Nottingham who are going to have to bend the knee to London Welsh. They trail by 9 points to 15. And let's hear what Martin Haag has had to say to his men at half time.
Key things for me. Do the simple things well, fellas. Right? Let's not go outside the box. Simple things well. We do it well at pace. We're in the game, and then things will happen because of it. So simple things well. Set piece. Right? Quality ball. Back row moves. First phase from the backs. Simple things well.
Guess the message is fairly clear from Martin Haag, isn't it? Simple things well. Lots of mistakes in that first half. Certainly were, talking there at half time. There's a real pressured game out there this afternoon, and it's only round 2 for the Greene King IPA Championship.
We're talking to Haag before the game. You take a point win. So that's, we know what we're up against today. These guys have come to play a dominant type of game. We know what we're up against, but unfortunately, the simple things well. It's the penalties that are killing. Penalty goals. Well, they're given far too many away. That Gordon Ross has hit 5 of them, and the penalties conceded is 8 in total. So, if you get field position, or you're trying to put some pattern on a game, or do the simple things well, you keep dropping the ball, giving penalties away, you're not going to win the game.
There's a good restart from Nottingham. Sean Romans so often takes that responsibility, as here's Tom May. Simple execution from London Welsh off the line-out. Trevitt. Mitch Lees now. Lewis is there again. That pass much better. A couple of loose ones in the first half. Jewell takes it on. Carl Kerwin. Been very impressive since he arrived at the club from Rotherham. Started 19 games for Rotherham last season. One to watch. Carl Kerwin.
Leave him.
Lewis is Ross. Seb Jewell. He's had nice feet, doesn't he, Seb Jewell? Lees again. He's a monster pack, isn't it? In London Welsh, and plenty of players to bring in, the likes of Daniel Brown, Ollie Steadman. Ross has flicked that one to Jewell. A bit loose again from London Welsh, but they managed just to tidy things up.
Green, no hands! No hands! Wait.
Rob Lewis. Good kick from him. Will Greenwood.
just chatting to the London Welsh coaching staff, and they were talking about the need for composure, but also the need to take a little bit of territory when you can. We saw Tom May try and do it, got charged down, but then Lewis again. Just don't overplay it. You've got a good set piece, a good platform. There's going to be 3-point opportunities. Stay composed and take the territory when you can. That's the message from the Welsh boys.
I guess fairly obvious messages. Just playing simple rugby, isn't it, in the right areas. Stegman just invited Tom May to come back on the angle, but it's those early season jitters, isn't it? Players not quite understanding where other players are going to run.
We saw a case of that in the first half, didn't we, when Gordon Ross got caught up with Reece Crane and Seb Jewell. They didn't quite know what they're doing. That situation, they're trying to get a bit of width on the ball, looking to link back with the forwards, but that's exactly what Martin Haag would have wanted. A mistake now from London Welsh. They've got a bit of territory knots. They're in their half, and every time they come here now, they're 6 points down. They have to take something away with them.
By these early indications of this selection for this side today from Justin Burnell, London Welsh, he's going to rotate the squad. First scrum of the second half goes down. When you look at the injuries that London Welsh have at the moment, Richard Thorpe, of course the former London Irish and Leicester flanker, Hudson Tonguia, Alex Davis we've mentioned, Joe Adjua, some strapping on his right upper leg.
Played well against Bedford, didn't he?
Yeah, then dual register guys, Nathan Morris, Alex Hepburn, the front rowers, Will Robinson as well, and Daniel Brown. So there's plenty of players, of good quality players to come into the side as well.
Styles, the right winger, moving into first receiver. We want the ball off Jarvis, inside or outside, we'll see.
Jarvis. It's a decoy, back to Romans, catch ball. Again, just try soft low when possibly the more sensible option was just to go to ground with the ball and restart things. Another poor pass. Just as well, Gordon Ross isn't the tallest man.
It's the story from both sides, isn't it? Every time they get some momentum in the ball, they just even actually go 2 or 3 phases, they can't hold the ball on for that 4th phase. So Gordon Ross doing the right thing, another mistake.
Oh, Pienaar's knocked it on. Now it's a race for the line. Ed Styles, it's going to stay in. Styles is there, is he? Or is it Seb Jewell? A catalogue of errors.
It's tempo.
Knocked on initially. And then Ed Styles showed what a set of wheels he has. Has Jewell come across though?
Well, he thinks he scored. I'm sure Seb Jewell, and a Welsh guy, thinks he's got it there, but that's the first thing you do. You try and pretend that you've got it, even if you haven't, but we will see from these pictures.
Try yes or no is the question. Styles' hand. Does he reach it first?
Oh, my word. Oh. Let's have a wee look. Slow. So what happens if the 2 hands go on simultaneously? I would say Seb Jewell has got his hand underneath it first. Underneath Edward Styles. The benefit of the doubt to the defending side. You can't see from those pictures.
So difficult, isn't it? The angles of the hand. Styles' hand is downward pressure. It's
you can see Seb
Jewell is across the ball more.
You can't say one way or the other, so you're going to have to say that is exactly at the same time.
Tempo. I've got a decision for you. Go ahead, please, ma'am. You may award the try. Thank you.
And Rowan Kidd has awarded the try.
Well, you would favour the attacking side then.
Just felt Nottingham needed a spark. Is that the moment that Ed Styles, chasing a lost cause, looked like that ball was going to roll out to touch. Ed Styles did not give up for a moment. Started with Romans and the misfielded. High catch from Pienaar, and then Styles is away. He thought he'd scored straight away, didn't he? And importantly, television match official Rowan Kitt agrees, and it's 1 point in it. Unable to add the two first miss for Matthew Jarvis at his new club. Just what this game needed, Will.
The shape of a rugby ball, Johnny, that is going out for all the money in the world. It's a hack on. He chases, fair play to him, the error comes, he takes a chance, and now look, into the corner, has to go out, turns right angles like a Shane Warne leg spin.
Tremendous persistence from Ed Styles, wasn't it? Just did not stop chasing it down.
The bend of a ball. In Romans then picking the ball out. Martin Haag, a little grin on his face. He'll take that little bit of luck, or that little bit of skill, really, you've got to say, from Styles.
Really was what this game needed.
Yeah, we did to try. It was, I wouldn't say dour, but again, you know, it's two heavyweight boxers that they're going at each other and really just waiting for the other one to crack. And we did see glimpses, but unfortunately, if you can't hold on to the ball more than 4 phases, you can't get any patterns going. Now there's going to be a reaction, I think, from London Welsh. That try may just ignite them into some good play.
That's what I mean. He may spark Nottingham, he may spark London Welsh. We spark them both. Ross. And James Lewis, of course. Identical twin brother of Rob. First ever twins to represent Wales at senior level. That's for Wales Sevens. A few years ago now. Advantage coming to London Welsh. Here's Tom May.
Penalty advantage. Very narrow Welsh on this side. That's the way they're going to go to the blind side and flood it.
Ross again. Pull that pass to Pienaar, the man who dropped that high kick.
Put the ball down, please. Captain, please. 6.
Rupert Cooper's being called over. Brent Wilson's being called over.
Your team are giving away too many penalties at the tackle area. I need the original tacklers to move. This guy wasn't moving there. Any more, I may not have any more option. Okay, let's get the mess across. Yeah, 6 move. Are we here?
And that'll be good news to Justin Burnell.
6 move.
Coach of London Welsh. Again, they're building a little bit of momentum.
Gents,
getting those big runners. You can see the likes of Rob Andrew carrying the ball into the heart.
That's good, thank you.
It's strength sapping. And then the easy thing to do is obviously to slow ball up. You've got to slow ball up. So what do? You lull on the ball. You get over top of it. You don't get away. And the referee's just pointing that out.
There's a real zip to that attack from London Welsh, who don't mind playing here at Meadow Lane. 10 times they've played Nottingham here. Won 5, lost 5, but importantly, won 4 of the last 5 encounters. Have the lead at the moment by a single point. This to make it a 4-point game. Striking the ball so well in the first half. Continues in this second half. Gordon Ross.
He ain't missed one yet, has he? And he doesn't look like he's going to. But again, they'll take that. It's at 6 from 6. There you go. Gosh. Well done, lads. But again, they'll take it. Again, they were hit by that try. But again, you've got to say it's against the run of play. A bit of luck. And now, we'll see if Nottingham have got anything more. They'll really chase this ball down hard, the restart. And that's excellent.
Rupert Cooper annoyed about giving that last penalty away. Tried to make amends there. Brilliantly in the air. Holford's done well as well. Jarvis into Keogh, wasn't expecting it. Bums around again.
Knock on.
We'll have another scrum.
And this is how to chase a restart and reclaim it. Good lad, Cooper. Straight through the middle. Very brave to do that. Don't take your eyes off the ball, but then unfortunately, big second row mate knocked on. So it's another put into to London Welsh.
Here's the current Nottingham community coach, Rupert Cooper.
Thank you.
One of those players.
Crouch.
Alan Lewis Moody, just no care for his own safety in whatever situation he finds himself in. Good example of it there. London Welsh with the hook. Tittle is uprooted again. Pienaar comes away though. It's powerful stuff for the South African born. He was loaned out to Nottingham from Leicester 3 years ago.
Green, stay, wait.
Savage goes downfield. Gordon Ross, huge space on his left-hand side, tries to find it. Alex Shaw is there.
Not late.
Excellent covering of the ground from Alex Shaw, the Nottingham number 8, Gordon Ross. Lees, Mitch Lees. Tackle from John Vickers right round the ankles. Jewell, lovely step through catch part. Stegman. See what an exciting runner he is. Lewis. Ross into the midfield with Tittrell. Ball is there for Rob Lewis. Tackled heavily by Alex Shaw, and he knocks it on. As a result, Nottingham will have the scrum. It's good defence again from Nottingham, and that man Alex Shaw all over the park. It's opening 10 minutes to the second half.
Good scratching about from the former Sale Jets captain there. They needed it. That was a lovely break from Seb Jewell. He couldn't get his hand on the ball to stop the try, but he got his hand on it there. You can just see players slipping. It's got to be greasy out there. It's really the first time, especially in this half, that they've tried to do something, but it all comes from Gordon Ross. He really is calling the shots. He's kicking for position. He's making Nottingham kick out. He's giving the ball back inside, like to Mitch Lees to crash it up through the middle and to come sweep round on the right-hand side. They're just making a few more errors. And if they were a bit cleaner, I'm sure that the tries would come. There's the possession.
Kai Griffiths coming on for Peter Edwards in the front row for London Welsh.
77% there. That's what you want from if you're a scrum half coming on.
You do have to feel for Martin Haag. Signed a new 2-year contract back in April, and then a matter of weeks later the investors pull their money out of the club, unable to add to the squad that was ravaged by the likes of London Irish in the summer. As Ollie Stedman comes on for Mitch Lees, that's a blood replacement. And now so little money to play with, that it can often, as we saw with London Welsh when they went up to the Premiership, that announcement they were unable to go up to the Premiership because of their ground. Hours before that game against the Cornish Pirates just set them all together, give them a common purpose, and you get that feeling about Nottingham this season. Feel that everything is against them.
Away. 20 move.
Things they can't do anything about, but a deal of pride, as Martin said before the game, in this squad. They know what they're about, and if evidence from last season, Martin Haag is a very shrewd operator.
Welsh putting the squeeze on here. The line speed has come up. The big lads, Nathan Trevitt there, is first in at the tackle. They're forcing Nottingham to get out of their half. They're trying to rumble it up, but again, round the sides, they're very, very strong. It'll have to be a kick in a minute.
Taken in. Wait. Thank you.
Oh my word.
That is a tackle and a half.
Reece Crane, he should have never left Nottingham. The London Welsh right winger.
That was meant.
Slightly. There he is. Nottingham last year, and it was a double whammy. It was Cooper. I can't quite see who the other guy is, but absolutely stopped in his tracks.
Savage, I think it was.
6 green. Okay. High tackle, keep him down, please. Penalty only, back you go.
6. I'm fractionally close to that tackle, and I'm absolutely delighted. I'm wearing a suit, and on this side of the creosote.
And some big boys' pants as well, but it was at Highwell. I didn't think from Initially,
I
it was
felt
high.
he slipped into it. I think it's a bit like the Bismarck du Plessis here when he got yellow carded against Dan Carter. But he slipped into it. It's good shoulder contact, great leg drive. That is a great rugby tackle. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Totally agree. Totally agree. It is a physical sport after all.
I was going to say, very Bismarck du Plessis, wasn't it? Didn't see anything wrong with that, even from the replays. Anyway, the officials, the important ones, have seen something wrong with it. High tackle, and now London Welsh set the drive, and they've got a penalty from the original penalty. Carl Cohen! Oh, he's going straight underneath the posts! London Welsh flexing their muscles.
Well, he thought he was looking to pass the ball initially to Rob Lewis, the scrum half. Someone was in the way, he couldn't do that, and then actually went through a tackle, and as he broke out through the tackle wasn't correct. He just had the impetus to go on. You can see here it's been brought down, the penalty's given. It's on the ball, the communication there from Lewis. He's straight through Brent Wilson. It was actually, I think, Michael Holford that got in Brent Wilson's way. And he's just taken him out, and then from then on, there was nobody at home, and he's right underneath the post. And Gordon Ross isn't missing this one. That's a 7-pointer.
He doesn't miss. Just went on and on, didn't it, that driving more. He thought initially it had stopped. Lovely dummy, purely intentional. Got that one on the highlights reel, Carl Kerwin. Only man in the back row, selected last week and this week. Been making some very good impressions down at Old Deer Park. His short career there so far. And he's got his first try for the Exiles. Now he's picking up the loose ball as well. There's Brown. Now Crane, he's dusted himself off.
He's in.
And he's in! Reece Crane! Brilliant awareness from Reece Crane. Playing against his former club. Took a huge hit minutes ago, has replied. Was on his back, but still had the presence of mind, the knowledge of where exactly he was to dot the ball down, and London Welsh has scored 2 tries in as many minutes.
Yeah, I'll make it that 2 minutes. The game has totally changed now. Nottingham will have to put caution to the wind and give it a real lash, because, again, a mistake. Alex Shaw makes the mistake, then it's over to the fast man, the gas man, whatever you want to call it. He nearly gets taken back, nearly gets held up by Joe Monroe. But again, a good bit of skill, He dabs it down there, no need to go to the TMO for that one. Turned on its head in 2 minutes.
Ross more difficult. And the last conversion doesn't matter, still gets it. Played in both semi-finals last year for Nottingham. Reece Crane scored a try here at Meadow Lane, and I think it was very similar. On his back, cuts back inside.
Well, I thought he'd go. I didn't think Monroe would get back. He did, but it wasn't to no avail. Good strength from Crane. He just turns his back and has the skill there to wrap the ball in and dub it down. So, like I said, it's caution to the wind stuff now for Nottingham. They've got to get back into this game. The only way they're going to do that is by scoring tries. They've got to be competitive. But again, they've already had a warning for infringing at the breakdown, so they're going to be pretty clean. But they've got to get some ball. Here they come.
Move out.
Joe Burton is on for Nottingham now in the back row for Alex Shaw. Here he is, rather colourful scrum cap.
Yeah.
A refresher scrum cap.
I like a refresher now and again. But again, the right decision. Don't tap and go. You needed some territory. Plenty of time left. But again, they've got a bit of a hill to climb because they really haven't made any inroads as such, apart from that fortuitous one try. So let's see, their line-out goes well. Mr. Refresher can get it.
There's Joe Burton taking the line out. Harry Williams is on as well in the front row for Nottingham.
Welsh did a good job sacking it on that bad side, and now you can see they're moving in, they're trying to push him in towards touch. That's the power game from Welsh.
James Hyde as well, adding to that pressure and power as well for London Welsh. Romans, Jarvis and Monroe just knocked it on in the tackle. London Welsh scrum.
They're just going into where the heavy traffic is. Monroe is very good at getting these angles, but again they're just going down a dark one-way alley at the moment.
London Welsh 8.
And Jarvis, Joe, just picking up what we talked about in the first half, clearly a really talented footballer, got a great right-hand pass, left-hand pass could do with a bit of work, but I'm just concerned a little bit in terms of his depth and his alignment. Fraction deep, it might be the style that they're working on with Ben Johnston to keep that depth and make sure really 3-4 yards behind each other, but at this stage it just feels at the moment that when they do get a relative piece of quick ball, the scrum half's passing it back to the 10, whereas you watch Gordon Ross, who hasn't got the pace of a Jarvis but has much more understanding of the game, just goes a fraction flatter and brings players and gets over the gain line quicker.
Well, I was just going to ask, is Matt Jarvis very different player to James Arledge at Nottingham, and the backs outside him just trying to readjust to a different type of fly half inside them?
Yeah, absolutely. Arledge, when he was playing with Japan, always took people on, always went to the line, ran a lot. Look, it's clear Jarvis likes to run. I just feel when they're getting some quick ball, when they've got some movement, they're going forward, then he can push 2-3 yards flatter. That'll allow Monroe. We know Monroe's a big fella. We know Styles can run. We know we've got these guys who can run and have pace. Just got to get him in and do the easier option. So it takes his running out of the game a little bit. He can be more patient with it.
We will see how he and the outside backs evolve as this season continues. For they, for now, need to get back into this game, don't they? Just over 20 minutes left in this game. 32-14 is the score to London Welsh. It's been their power up front. They're showing again there. Few words there. Doing Kai Griffiths is a huge man, isn't he, in the front row there. And Campesi Matafu.
Skipper, captain, just to let you know, I'm now running out of patience.
Now we're going to talk to Justin Burnell. Direct, he's on the touchline there. Justin must be delighted with those two quick-fire tries.
Yeah, it was something we needed. As you can see, it's not going either side's way at the moment. A lot of drop balls, a lot of infringements, but fortunately we capitalised at a crucial time just after half-time, and all those tries. Now it's very much about maintaining that pressure, staying in the right areas and just coming away with points.
You're not looking for the bonus point then, Justin?
I'm just looking for the win, Dewi, to be honest with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you know what it's like. Look, let's not forget, Nottingham are a very good side. We're totally under the cosh. The game isn't over yet, and we're just happy to get back down the M1 with a W under our belts, to be honest with you.
Thank you very much for your time, Justin.
Thank you.
Back to prowling the touchline. He's absolutely right, aren't he? Nottingham a quality side. Second at the end of the regular season. Last season, rather ran out of puff, didn't they? In those semi-finals. They are a quality side, but London Welsh will be very happy, and also it also says to the rest of the league, doesn't it? Two big statements now. Last week's victory against Bedford, and now this big win against Nottingham will certainly looking that way.
They've got a big squad, and it's exactly, you know, what the boys were talking about in the studio. It's the bench, it's the power of the bench, it's this word impact we use. You know, you don't get weakened when these guys come on, you actually strengthen. You know, they're raring to go with 20 minutes, and that makes a massive change, especially against a Nottingham side that really only have 22, maybe 24 players to pick out of anyway.
London Scottish away next for Nottingham, and then Jersey at home, Bristol away, Bedford at home. It's a tough start to the season for Nottingham. That's gone straight out as well, so luck continues to drain away from the green and whites.
The love and lives of coaches, isn't it? One would be happy with that, because again it was not executed very, very well, and that would be Justin. And Martin Haag will just be going, oh no, we're chasing a game, we've got a 10 who really likes to play deep in the pocket, and now we've made a mistake as the clock kicks down. It really is in London Welsh's hands now. They could just grind this out, the catch and drive, and really suffocate the life out of Nottingham's game.
Biggest game next weekend without any shadow of a doubt. South Africa against Australia in the Rugby Championship, Saturday 3:30 on Sky Sports 2. And then later on that evening, Argentina against New Zealand, 11:30 on Sky Sports 2. Argentina, of course, looking for their first win in the Rugby Championship.
Come on, Argentina. Come on, boys. You can do it.
Just really impressed with London Welsh last week and this week. Just impressed with the atmosphere around the place. Obviously, down at Old Deer Park this week, but just it's like a new dawn. They just swept last year, and all those troubles and tribulations, just swept them away and said, right, let's start afresh. Of course, that helps with a new coach.
It does. Lynn's gone, Justin's in. Well, that's fine, things happen like that. But the other thing as well, you've got a Bristol side that are, the bookies' favourites to go up. They've got the finance in place, and so really, as you can see, they've got the bonus point there as well, right at the death. So they've righted the wrongs from last week, but because they're favourites, maybe a little bit of pressure off London Welsh, so they can just go about their business. I mean, some of the bookies I was listening to this week were giving them 6-1 to go up, which is not bad. If you give me a quid, I'll put it on for you, Johnny.
If only I had one.
Let's go, we're playing.
Bristol, not looking good at half-time, was it, for the favourites for this Green King IPA Championship? One with a bonus point, Glenn Townsend right at the death, getting the fourth try for Andy Robinson's men.
I think there might be some cards coming here again, because it's just penalty after penalty, and Nottingham really having to pull people down. The referee's already had words.
Mitch Lee's that second wave runner. We've seen him pull that position plenty of times in this game so far. Now Seb Jewell needs to get to ground, does. Lewis, a little snipe on that blind side. Matt Corker's on now.
There's a lot of good organisation here. You can see the big fours will take it up. The backs have already sorted something out. Now Gordon Ross wants it. Give me the ball.
And he gets it. There's a long floated pass out to Jewell. He can't quite take it. Penalty to London Welsh, and there's an argument, isn't there, for a card, because it's just penalty from penalty. Neil Foulkes having a little word with Justin Burnell.
Well, there's two things there. There's an argument for the card because he has warned on 2 occasions, and there's an argument for how much advantage do you want to play, because I mean they had that ball going back, zinging all over the place. You give advantage to the attacking side, I like it, but really it's all hands to the pumps for Nottingham now. They're trying to pull people down, they're going offside, they're not rolling away. And you can see this big juggernaut pack that London Welsh possess. And with Gordon Ross in his pomp, really, it's just absolute armchair ride. The calls have been made, they'll just drift into the corner. And I wouldn't expect this ball to go out initially first. This will be, I think, with the dominance they've got and the strength they've got, a catch and drive. And after that, we'll see what happens.
Hold it first.
Well, there is that, yes. It was going to be a catch and drive.
It's come off Andy Tittrell's hand.
I don't think it's come off Andy Tittrell's hand. I think it was just the sound of his boot, mate. Well, it must have been.
9 and 4 green, please. 9 and 4.
Here we go.
4 black, please. 4 black.
Replacements aplenty.
4, please.
Off go Keogh, Romans, Marfu, Nottingham, from Ryan Bauer, Scott Wright.
Okay, thank you. Let's go.
And Harrison Lee Everton. For that man, Sean Romans. Fresh legs required for Nottingham to try and get something out of this game. Well beaten so far. There is Harry Williams.
That's two lineouts that haven't gone well in succession now for London Welsh, but they're still down in the 22. They've still got pressure on Nottingham. And it's which way do you get out? Do you use the boot or do you use the feet?
I suppose for Justin Burnell, he'll be pleased. The message has got through to play rugby in Nottingham's half.
Back.
Well, you've got 15 minutes left. You've got all the territory. I know to joke slightly with the bonus point, but, you know, one quick try now, and it's got to be within your sights.
With how competitive and how tight this league we suspect it's going to be this season, every point is going to make
and you
a
hear
major
Bristol.
difference.
You hear Bristol picking up the bonus point with the last play of the game virtually, and again, Dowie's absolutely spot on. Long season, you want to make sure you get in that top four and understand that these bonus points can be crucial, and they've got all the territory. They seem to be the only side who look like being able to score. It goes back to the half-time message of composure that came from Justin Burnell. That's what they've got to show now, most specifically in that line-out area.
Vickers with a throw. Doesn't have to get it too far. Lee Everton with a feed. Here he is again. Looks like Mark Wahlberg.
Try.
Harrison Lee Everton.
Try.
Oh, Stegman! The referee was playing advantage. The ball just squeezed out.
There was no one on the defensive side for Nottingham. On this right-hand side, again, I said a quick try, and it's got to be in the picture, getting the bonus point, which is 4 tries. Seb Stegman has just pounced on it. Again, it was a mistake from Nottingham. The ball went down. I think it's Savage who takes it in, and then always look at the strength of Tom May. We know he's a big, strong lad. Titchell is in there. The ball's just come out. There's no one at home. They're all lining up to recycle, to regurgitate the ball, going from right to left, and that's what happens. Pressure has built. And there you go, 3 tries. With Gordon Ross not missed a kick so far this afternoon.
Gordon Ross adds the 2. Seb Stegman try there. A bit like Ben Smith's try a few weeks ago. Unopposed, just squirted out the side.
Slightly bit more pressure on Ben Smith, I would say, than touch has been
Don't know
called.
what you're talking about, Dowie.
Well, again, this has been a very comfortable win for Welsh at the end. They've still got something to go for it, like I said, with that bonus point. Could be crucial come the end. The power game has really come to the fore. They've been able to hold on to a few passes and got the luck of a bounce occasionally. Now they'll just catch, drive, set, box kick and chase. Or they may not.
All day long, somebody got their hands on the ball. It's Vickers. Does like to have ball in hand. He's such a low centre of gravity. Jarvis. He's still not over the gain line though, Darry. That's what we're talking about. How deep Matthew Jarvis is playing. They were playing advantage, we'll give them that, but by the time the 2 or 3 passes have gone in, they're 10-15 metres behind the gain line.
But again, it's something that Will's been talking about and I've been talking about is the depth. Again, when you're chasing a game, you need your 10 at least and your 12 to be up in the face of in this occasion Welsh, but they're that far deep that it's easy now for the collision tackles to happen. Luckily, they're coming back for a penalty, and I think they may have a bit of a power play of their own now here.
So, 15, please. 15. 15 Welsh. 15 sub. Just hold the ball. Just hold the ball. Time off. We've got replacements.
Coming on.
15.
Dante Mama. One for Seb Jewell.
Well, Jarvis is going as well, so...
There's indeed Rory Lynn coming on. It's a big new there. Dante Mama. The Doncaster.
Well, he likes to play flatter, that's for sure, but again, the forwards want to give a bit of medicine back to London Welsh. Good set, ball at the back.
I say Rory Lynn, man of the match last week.
Penalty advantage, 7-side entry.
3 minutes notice to play the game. Here's Nottingham. Penalty coming to them. Brent Wilson scored 12 tries last season, Brent Wilson, from exactly these kind of situations.
Release short!
Just millimetres short, says the referee. Side entry
7-side
from
entry.
London Welsh. Again, they will go for the corner and the line-out drive.
That's 2 in quick succession.
Referee just warning London Welsh that's 2 penalties in quick succession. May not have an option next time it goes down.
Well, the way Welsh are set up here, they're not looking to jump, they're looking to sack.
Receiver clear.
It'll allow the guy to come down and then they push.
And around, move!
So Nottingham did so well last season. He's captured tries. Talking about Brenton Wilson's try-scoring tally. Penalty. Referee's having to carry on.
Try there.
Lee Everton gets one back for Nottingham. And it was coming. Nottingham putting all the pressure on London Welsh from the drives, some line-outs, and there was space in the end for the little scrum half.
Well, Mr. Tempest loves to give penalties, doesn't he? He's given a few today, and there's a little tap and a go from the scrum half, trying to make a difference. That's exactly what they wanted. There's 3 penalties on the trot. Turned down the chance of another rumble, but they missed the conversion. William?
Always interesting. Do you defend your goal line with your absolute life and negate your chance of getting a bonus point up the other end? Or are you actually not that brassed off that Nottingham have scored? So now you get your territory back rather than faffing around in your own 22. You're 20 points clear. The game is well won. It's all about you and the bonus point. I think that's done Welsh a favour letting them score that quickly.
Controversial from Mr. Greenwood.
Hey, no, it's right from Will. That's the way it's played now, but again, it's exactly what Will's just saying. Wanted a mistake, they've got a mistake, and now what a position for London Welsh.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I know exactly what Will means. I was just interested that referee Ian Tempest said, I don't have an option, next time I give a penalty, gives a penalty. Didn't give a card.
Well, he was never going to give a card to Welsh
because he's got a quick tap penalty.
Yeah, because Nottingham have been the real...
But he could come back to it.
Yes. They've been the real culprits, really, the guys that have been giving penalty after penalty. But anyway, enough of that.
Yes, 9.
Where are we going with this move?
This game certainly has sparked into life, certainly that middle period in the second half of those 2 quick tries from London Welsh. Now looking for their 4th. Stegman.
Advantage.
Lewis was there, James Lewis. Couldn't locate him with a pass. Here's Tom May. No option but to put his head down and go for it. Ollie Frost is on now, feeds Corker. Real London Welshman through and through. Gordon Ross. It's Kevin Davis. Dante Mama into Joe Monroe. It's advantage over. Arm is down from the referee. Frost with the feed. Tideswell. Gordon Ross. Good angle from Reece Crane, manages to find her way through the heavy traffic there. Kevin Davis again came from the Queensland Reds in the summer. Oxford University captain, playing in the varsity. The advantage is over, said the referee. Frost is there. Cohen, he's already scored one.
Time off.
Penalty. Rupert Cooper.
He's waited. 74 minutes to do it.
He's been on the wrong side most of the day. In the eyes of the referee, Rupert Cooper, yellow carded. And now, a golden opportunity for London Welsh, isn't it?
What are we doing, gents? Scrum?
Oh, it's scrum. It's got to be scrum. 7 forwards against 8. They may have to put another forward in. They'll be going, I would say, the ascendancy here. You're looking for a penalty try.
Kitty, confirm time, please.
But again, will Nottingham put their blindside winger on the side of the scrum?
Nice moment there between Cooper and Reece Graham, former teammates.
To be fair, he's played a great game there, Cooper. Again, you want your back rows on the edge. Unfortunately, he's taken one of those accumulative sort of penalties that happened by the referee. Say, look, there's too many penalties being given, and the next one who does it, that's it.
There's plenty of penalties this game. Just saying, 74th minute yellow card. May have been a better spectacle if that card had come earlier. But anyway, Dowie, your man of the match.
Well, it's a guy, actually, I think, because he's that old. He's 47. He's been playing 10 in a very nice armchair. He will thank his forwards, but again, the total orchestration from Gordon Ross has been superb. I mean, he hasn't missed a kick. I mean, he's 8 out of, I've lost count, 9 out of 9 or 7 out of 7, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. He has plotted London Welsh's victory today around here. If he goes under the post and gets the bonus point, I'll buy him a pint later, because my Green King IPA man of the match, Scottish international, London Welsh fly half, Gordon Ross.
Here we go, closer up, please.
Yeah, 9 from 9 from Gordon Ross, but as you say, just playing behind a pack that's been going forward. Certainly in the eyes of the referee today. And now this chance, just 5 minutes left on the clock. Nottingham down to 14 men. Importantly, one of those players missing is the flanker.
Set. Yes, 9.
Scrum here. They chose to take the scrum from the penalty. 3 tries on the board already. Steadman can't take the ball. Brilliant work from Brent Wilson. Absolutely superb work, ripping the ball away.
About 5 minutes to knock on.
Ollie Steadman then made the cardinal error of a guy that actually bends down to pick a ball up from number 8. There's no communication. You see this. You do not want to go back Brent Wilson's way. You go with the flow. The scrum was going to the left. You pick and drive left. You don't go back into an experienced campaigner like Wilson. And he got exactly what he deserved there. Knocked on. And Knott's got a chance maybe to take something out of this game.
Bind. Set. Yes, 9.
It's Nottingham with a scrum. Roy Lynn clears the lines, but London Welsh will have the line out, won't they? And one last attempt, you feel, to get this bonus point. Game is well and truly won. It was certainly after that very quick Crane try, a second
3 more, please.
After the Kerwin try early in this second half. Nottingham will have to go away and lick their wounds.
5-man line-out call, and this is going off the top. There's some big meat in the middle of a Gordon Ross sandwich. First part done, second part coming up.
Ross, Tom May, then outside. Not the most sympathetic pass, was it, from Tom May?
And it was a total decoy. Having the big forwards in the midfield, it was the wraparound, and Tom May unfortunately couldn't have the precision on his pass. Otherwise, that was a 2-1, and that should have been a try. Here you go. There's the big guns in the middle. Miss out, miss out, miss out. Wrap round Tom May. Pass to hand. You're in. Pass to hand. Use your left shoulder. Go straight. Crane was in for his second.
He will expect better from himself, Tom May. And he's capped for England, 2009. That season at fly half, didn't he? A few years ago now. Toulon and Newcastle, Northampton.
He was a talented player.
Clubs.
Yeah, he played well at 10. Kicked a few drop goals, I remember, as well.
Stand up. Guys, you must be ear to ear. You must set ear to ear. I am going to reset, okay? There's your mark. Please bring it up to the mark. Thank you, Kitty.
Clear instructions from the referee.
Choose, please.
If there's any doubt exactly what he wants.
Crouch!
The referee is always right, John.
Bang! Set!
Not when it comes to scrum time with you, Dowie. Free kick to Nottingham though. Here's Burton. Big ball carrier. That's what Nottingham are hoping from him. Not 10.
Well, they've got to go because it's a free kick.
Lee Everton. Here's Monroe. Just steps into the two elder statesmen, if you like, in the London Welsh side. Ross and May. Savage. Haven't seen too much of him this afternoon. Great runner with ball in hand, Andy Savage.
But he's been hampered with a 10 in Matthew Jarvis, who's a talent, but it's just too flat, so you can't bring players on as you would with a flat 10.
Martin Hogg is a shrewd man, shrewd operator. You're looking at the DVDs, won't you, of this game? And here's very much a case for Matthew Jarvis to stand flatter, as Rory Lynn's been doing there, but just the pass, just forward there. But Lynn already standing much flatter than Matthew Jarvis had been for most of the game.
Here's Justin, the big man. He is smiling, honestly, underneath that. He'll be delighted with this win, and they've got one last chance. Knots down to 14. Again, all the play coming this side. Gordon Ross on the left. Tom May.
Next up for London Welsh. Plymouth Albion at home and Rotherham away.
Crouch!
Forest Pirates at home, Leeds away.
Set good,
no easy games in this championship this season. But here come London Welsh again. Ross. Oh, it's Lewis. Lewis is through. Just needs support now, though. Frost. Into Kai Griffiths. Corker was there as well. Ball is out, says the referee, so Burton picks it up. Little flick pass, Kevin Davis. It's on the wrong team, as far as Nottingham are concerned. Here's Reece Crane, he used to play for Nottingham. Gordon Ross, this really is the last chance. Time is up. It's just opened up though. Here come London Welsh. And it's Dante Mama. Wraps this game up with the bonus point. The man who signed a short-term contract at the club to cover a few injuries has come here to Meadow Lane and scored the bonus point try, and you have to say on the second half performance no less than London Welsh deserve.
Well, his brother's team, Bristol, Marco's had a good win today, come back from a deficit in that first half, and Welsh really have put the foot down in this second. Great play, great skill, and will Gordon Ross put the proverbial icing on the top of the cake, light the candles, and get this over for 100% afternoon in Nottingham.
9 from 9 so far for Gordon Ross, man of the match. Struck it pretty well. It's 10 out of 10. Perfect 10 for Gordon Ross. Orchestrated this game superbly well, the assistant coach. And when you look at that scoreline, Dowie, Nottingham second in the regular season last season, semi-finalists. Okay, they're playing against a side who dropped down from the Premiership last season, but 46 points to 19. That is a big win and a big statement from London Welsh.
And they're strong where you need it in this division, or any division.